Today on the show, the spleen talks anime, and then the spleen talks to Kevin about episodes 21 and 22 of Anime Binge. Nope, we're not talking about our own podcast. That's not what happened. We're going to talk about Evangelion, and then Kevin spent Kevin.
Yes, I did. I spent some time away from the spleen, and I'm really missing him now. So I'm back, everybody. I hope you missed me. I missed the spleen.
I miss being able to fucking talk right, because I wasn't talking about spending. I was trying to say that you sent the spleen some beverages, and we're gonna try them on Anime Binge chemicals. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's the new title. Yes,
we binging some chemicals, baby. Anime baby chemicals. Give these to your baby. Hit the theme.
You're listening to Kevin and the Spleen.
That's not the right theme. Hit the theme. No, Kevin. I sent you. Didn't I send you this? You know, it was me doing the theme song. You know. Zaun koku naten shino teze, etc. You remember? I sent that to you. I think I dreamed this, actually. I sent it to you. You had 3 arms.
Yes, yeah, I had the same dream, Spleen. I think we're so bonded. We share dreams now.
Well, can you check your dream and see if it's attached anywhere? Maybe it's like maybe the attachment's in the dream.
Yes. We'll get that for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Folks, we're doing it live. That's how the colostomy bag is. Oh, yeah. What's up, Kevin? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I was sad I missed the last episode, so I'm glad I'm back now.
Yeah. Do you listen to that one?
About half of it while I was editing. I haven't finished it yet, though, because he started talking. You know, I didn't want to spoiler the episodes that we're going to talk about today, so I was skipping around a bit.
That's fair. That makes a lot of sense. I wasn't talking about it, though. That was Spencer, one of the co-hosts of Anime Binge Corner. Oh, yeah, I'm a different guy.
Sorry, I just get you guys, a little confused because you look a little alike. I've always thought, I mean, you're obviously 2 very different people, but you kind of got the same physical vibe to you.
Yeah, that's true. I was part of the Artificial Evolution Project for a while.
Were you?
Yeah.
How did that go?
I mean, pretty well. You think a guy could broadcast? Sorry, folks. This is technically still a broadcast, even if it is podcast. You think a guy could broadcast this good naturally? No way. This is some secret government shit, baby.
I always thought there was some kind of like overarching story behind your origin here that we hadn't touched on yet. So yeah, I this tracks.
Yeah, my friend's mom strangled me to death.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not where I thought we were going with this.
No, it's true. But I evolved. I evolved the ability to resurrect, except it did not affect my vocal cords, and that's why I sound like this, baby. Oh yeah, these are the vocal cords of a strangled child. Oh yeah.
Well, that got dark. I just thought you were just way cooler than I am. I thought
that's my life, Kevin.
Okay. Yeah, I thought maybe you had like a 2-pack of cigarettes a day habit and you just had a really cool life. That's all.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, people love the glamour of 2 packs of cigarettes a day. You said a day, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, man, the head rush on those things. That's my secret, Kevin. I never develop a tolerance to that. I feel every cigarette like it was my first time, baby. Oh, yeah. Post-coitus stuff.
How many coituses do you get up to a day these days?
Oh, 2 packs of coitus a day.
Wow.
I smoke Coitus Lights.
Okay. That's pretty powerful.
You ever have coitus?
From time to time, but I don't think I'm 2 packs a day.
Wow. Yeah. I've engaged in that. Coitus, I mean. That's a thing that I've done. And you can't say that I haven't.
The spleen, I would believe you were having coitus right now. Like literally like just before you got on the call. you were having coitus.
Well, you could tell, maybe the audience can't tell, but my mouth is off camera, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was noticing. I was wondering what your mouth was doing.
What that mouth do? I be sucking on toes. That's part of the spleen lore that we haven't gotten into lately, but the spleen loves sucking on toes, baby. Oh, yeah. Get those digits into my mouth. This little piggy went all the way home to the bone zone, baby. Oh, yeah.
That's quite an image, spleen. I'm gonna steal that line, I think, too. This little piggy went to the bone zone.
This little piggy went to the bone zone. You ever heard the term digital penetration?
I have. That's maybe what our podcast should be called now.
Whoa, digital penetration. Now that's the first pitch I heard that's better than Kevin and the Spleen. Man, you're finally starting to pull your own weight. I respect the hell out of that. I better start paying you one of these days.
I've been an intern for 26 years with you. I know when the time is right. One day you will pay me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interns don't get their name on the show, so
that's true. You're paying me an exposure.
Yeah, people don't think about it, but digits technically include toes. I had to look that up.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
But when you talk about digital penetration, no one is assuming you're talking about toes in that instance. But sometimes you are. Think about that next time you're mid coitus. And boy, we're sponsored by Coitus Lights, the only cigarette that is better than sex. That's right, folks. It's like your first time, every time. Coitus Lights. Now with more arsenic.
I was thinking maybe the Coitus Lights are sort of like the Northern Lights, but dirtier.
Now, when you're going down to the bone zone with me talking digital penetration, you'll see those coitus lights in your head. You know what I'm talking about? Synesthesia with the lights in your brain from the stimulation.
I've thought I've seen you before dipping your cigarettes in LSD, so I was wondering if that's what you were doing there.
No, that's formaldehyde you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. You like that burn as you smoke.
Yeah, I have this theory that I could become a living mummy if I ingest enough formaldehyde.
Well, it's important that we preserve those vocal cords of what's left of them, So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but those fine people at Coitus have invented a new form of filter, Kevin. It adds arsenic to the cigarette. It filters out most of the junk, but adds some other junk too. The junk you crave, baby.
Yeah, those Coitus Lights asbestos filters really add some flavor. Like, I'm not a smoker, but just being around you sometimes, I get the feel of asbestos in the air.
Yeah, the thing about arsenic is I love rats. I used to have some pet rats. I would hold them up to my face and go, ooh, coochie coochie coo. And my breath killed them. That's how much arsenic I've been inhaling, thanks to the cooling power of Coitus Lights, baby. Cigarettes so good you won't need a pest control.
I had wondered, since we got kicked out of the stomach, if all those EPA guys hanging around weren't because it was some Superfund site from the show recording there for so long.
Yeah, that's why they've been doing some what do they call it? Hazmat biz, I think they call it. But what's crazy? All those guys died.
It's a miracle you're still with us, Spleen.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Mr. Burns meme where all the diseases are stuck in the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like that with supernatural ailments.
Okay. Yeah. I could see how the arsenic cancels out the wear car. It all makes a lot of sense now that you were laying it out like this.
Yeah, ever since I started smoking Coitus Lights, now with added arsenic, I haven't been transforming. And when I am transforming, it's more of like a half state, kind of like a hybrid form.
Which just got like a muffler hanging out, or
yeah, well, that's the thing. As a wear car, a hybrid form is much more awkward than a lot of other monster transformations.
Do you become a Prius? Is that what the kind of hybrid you are?
Now that's a good joke. I definitely gotta start paying you. Holy shit. Have you been taking those improv classes?
No. I haven't slept for about a week, so that's really what's going on right now.
Well, you know what they say over at UCB, there's no improv class that's as good as being sleep deprived. That's the Del Close Marathon motto.
Yes. Yeah, I heard John Belushi taught that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And you know what happened to him?
He's never fell asleep. Yeah.
He ate a mummy.
He ate a mummy.
He ate a mummy. No one knows why or where. That's the weirdest thing is no one knows where this happened, but he ate a mummy.
Yeah, where would you get a mummy from even these days? I wonder. Hobby Lobby. They probably
Hobby Lobby.
they've probably imported a few, and yeah.
Mummy Mart. Mummy Mart. Hey, a penny. Hey, what's up? Did I miss anything?
No, really. We just the spleen was here. He sounds like he's doing well. He sounds like he's really living his best life right now.
Yeah, I've been finding all these half-eaten cigarettes. Aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to smoke those.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch those, to be honest. If you find any more, I would get some like rubber gloves. Maybe call a hazmat team. I would not actually physically contact yourself with those cigarettes anymore.
You know what else is weird is I've been finding all these half-smoked rats.
Yes. Well,
How do you smoke a rat?
when you got the need for arsenic, you're going to get it wherever you can get it from.
Yeah. Yeah, but what's up, folks? I just wanted to. We did a good episode, Kevin. I think you should, now that you've watched the episodes of the podcast, you should watch the anime, the episodes of the anime Evangelion. There's so many nouns, There's too many nouns these days. But since you watched the episodes, you should watch the podcast because I did a lot of breaking down and analysis that we couldn't possibly get into again. But I think these episodes were confusing and mysterious in a lot of ways. Although I think, in the most important ways, they're very explanatory, right? Well,
I mean, this answered more questions than I think any two episodes have in the past.
Yeah.
But it just left me with a lot more questions.
Mm-hmm.
But these feel like all new questions.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is what it's supposed to do. But yeah, so I mean, maybe worth listening to the podcast if you want to dig in a little bit deeper. Because, man, or if you want to hear how mad we were about Severance.
See, I hadn't watched Severance either. So I was trying to step around to find stuff to listen to, and I kept having to not listen to any of it.
Yeah, I think I like Severance a bit more than I was letting on. I was just, it was frustrating. I don't know. I mean, that's the problem with mystery box shows is that they kind of succeed on what you want them to be. And so they can never be that. Whatever. Having a good time. We're doing it. You were out of town and now you're back, right?
Yes. We took a little family trip. We went to see some of Ariel's family in Kentucky. We swung through Missouri on the way home. We went on a good old road trip. Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was nice to get away. It was nice to just drive,
Mm-hmm.
I think you and I both like to just drive sometimes, and it's peaceful.
Yeah, that's the greatest part of my job is that I just drive. I drove up to Santa Barbara. Well, I got a ride up to Santa Barbara today, and I drove back to North Hollywood. It's nice. It's nice to drive a car that's not yours that you don't have to worry about maintaining,
Yes.
When I first started the job, I was kind of worried about how different it would feel to drive all these different vehicles, but the vast majority of vehicles I drive feel almost exactly the same. Like the giant vans feel different, and then the giant trucks feel a little bit different, but the giant trucks feel closer than I expected. But it's interesting. They all drive about the same. Who would have thought? I wonder if in the past it wasn't quite the same as that, but maybe cars felt a lot different. But now they all feel very homogenized in a way that I'm fine with, I guess.
Yeah, I
Ugh.
missed kind of having, because I used to like intentionally buy just junker cars. Like I would find a car that was barely running and just drive it into its grave and then buy
Hmm.
another one.
Yeah.
And I feel like older cars like that had a lot more personality. Like you'd have to learn the trick to start it, and like this door only opens if you jiggle the window handle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit more boring these days, I feel like.
Yeah. My friend used to drive a Geo Tracker, and man, that thing either had tight shocks or no shocks because you'd go over bumps and stuff, and it would just like rattle the whole car. Except even though like ostensibly that's a car that can do like off-roading, but we would joke that this, what do you call it, the airbags and the interiors were just full of broken silverware, and then if we ever got in an accident, they just like launch a bunch of like fletchets at us, essentially. The fleches, whatever. Not important. A bunch of shrapnel, essentially. And it was fun. We used to get up to all sorts of mischief in that vehicle. And then he got a Ford Fiesta. Do Ford Fiestas still even exist? I'm gonna look this up.
That's a really good question. I don't think I've seen one for a while.
Yeah. Someone Googled "Are digits toes?"
Yeah, that was
Um,
that was that was the spleen. I don't think you want to like look at his search history any deeper than that, because I don't know what he was doing before the show started on your
yeah,
computer.
that seems like it could implicate me in crimes if I looked at that.
Yeah,
Looks
we
like
gotta
they
keep.
retired him in 2023.
Okay.
Wait, no. It said 1976 to 2000. So this is some AI bullshit. God damn it. Here's the thing, Kevin. You can click on the fucking link and it'll take you to the link, and then it'll say real shit if you click the link that it takes you to. But if you just read the sentence right before the link, it just makes shit up. Can't it just copy and paste the fucking words that it's stealing from in the first place? It's insane. What? God damn it. Sorry. You were going to talk before I.
No, no, this is my life right now, because like everything I'm doing, like all of the clients I work with, they all want AI things. And it's really hard to explain to people. Yes, it's like having all of the information in the world put onto your computer, but at the same time, it's like a forgetful idiot.
Yeah. No, this is saying, I guess it's right. This is saying it was in 1976. It just wasn't in America around then, maybe? It's like a
Okay.
European model before that. Okay. Well, fuck me, I guess. Um, but yeah. Ugh. AI clients. AI clients. That's what they should make, some AI clients. They could buy stuff
Yes,
from us.
that would be great.
Yeah, your job is to give me money. Oh, I hate the world, Kevin. I hate it. I hate everything. I hate everything that's happening and everything that will ever happen and everything that's happened in the past. The past, not the fast. Oh boy. Okay. Evangelion. You ready to talk about it?
I am. I am.
Okay. So, well, which episode did you like more? The first one or the second one? 21 or 22?
Um, I want to say 21, because 22 had some things that just kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where 21, I think, explained more, even though it wasn't like, I still have a ton of questions. I just think they're just new questions now. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. 22 bothered me a little bit for a few reasons, but I don't know if you want to go in order to
No,
talk
I
about
want
them or.
to. I think we should let you kind of lead the discussion because I've said basically all I can say. I might basically talk through like the beginning, middle, and end just to kind of prompt you. But other than that, I kind of want you to do most of the heavy lifting on talking about anime, and I'll just respond if that makes sense. But yeah, what about
Sure.
22?
So 22, okay. So remember how I mentioned, I don't know if you remember this, but like several episodes back, my computer froze and I kept going,
Yeah,
wow, this was so deep. Like this was just
yeah.
like, I can't believe they did this. And then I realized I was just invented this whole scene myself. Well, now they
Hmm.
did this in 22, where they were in the, I mean, it wasn't silent, but like Ray and Ashka were in the elevator, just
Hmm.
not saying a word for like a minute. And
Yeah,
it didn't feel as deep as my hallucination of what was happening in that last episode.
yeah.
Um,
I fucking love that scene. I thought it was so great.
I'm not
sure.
saying it's bad. I'm just saying like I felt like I already experienced that once, and my fake version of it I thought was better than what they did there.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
You know. But at the same time, I appreciate that they actually did what I was lauding them for doing. Like I was. It was a good scene. I just wish they had done it differently a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's like elevators are already kind of uncomfortable. The idea that you're like in an elevator with someone that you don't like or someone that you're upset with is like you could totally identify with that. And also like I don't know, I think Asuka just in general feeling kind of like caged and boxed in and not like and kind of impotent and not able to get what she wants. I feel like it amplifies all that, and I think like the amount of time we're sitting in it like totally I don't know. I thought it was really really effective, but I totally get it. And also, I think if I remember the parts that you were talking about where you thought that happened, I think like it's more interesting if it were that back then. So, and also I think it undercuts it if you're like, oh, is this what's happening again? Like it kind of takes you out of the moment when you're really sitting with it being like, whoa, this is crazy. I think it like hits you differently than if you're like, wait, is my thing broken? Like, I don't, is this, goddamn it, is this happening again? Nope, it's not. It kind of interrupts that kind of experience.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. The other thing I didn't really like too, and this is just me maybe being overly attached to this weird aspect of it, but this was the first time that I saw Pen Pen and wasn't like, yay, this is going to be a silly scene, because I knew it wasn't going to be. Like he was comic relief every time we saw him before, and this time he wasn't, Yeah. And I kind of wish they hadn't. Like they either should have made him the comic relief or not brought him at all. But then I kind of realized, okay, maybe the whole point of this was that there is nothing funny happening right now. Like this is so messed up that even Pen Pen isn't funny anymore.
Yeah. I think that I totally missed Pen Pen being in this episode in 22. So that's interesting. I totally didn't clock him at all. But yeah, I mean, he gets set up so prominently in the beginning, and then he's just like almost nowhere in the whole series. It's such a bummer,
Yeah. Well, like it's when they're at dinner, like Masato and Ashika and Shenji are sitting all together eating, and it's all tense. He kind of comes in and looks around, and then kind of just like his shoulders shrugged, and he kind of walks off, like almost like he's like, yeah, there's no humor here. I don't belong in this scene, and then walks off.
Well, that seems kind of comedic, but yeah, it's less, prominent or less inherently funny. Also, just less focus on him.
Yeah, it just seems sad more than anything,
Yeah.
But I liked it. It just seems like, the early episodes, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of a lighthearted show with some crazy stuff happening.
Yeah.
And the further we're getting into this, the more I'm like, okay, that was past me. We're never going back to that now. This has gotten real and dark, and everything is messed up, and there's no putting these pieces back together now. And all of these mysterious things all mean something terrible. And, it's very powerful. And I really like that. But it's just like, wow, there's just so much going on right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they've been setting up and setting up and setting up and setting up, and they're starting to unpack some of it. And like while they're setting up, you're like, this does seem like it could be deep and dark, but it's not clear, and I wonder where it's going. And then it starts unraveling, and you're like, oh boy, like what are we in for?
Yeah, it's like they slowly built this Jenga tower up, and it's all very delicate and very precariously balanced. And then, like in these few episodes, they're just taking baseballs and just hitting it. Like it's all coming apart now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mentioned it in the last episode, I think, but Shinji attacking Toji in his like corrupted Eva is like the first real crack of like things falling apart. And since then, it's just like everything's like slowly falling apart. We're seeing the corruption at the heart of everything, how rotten everything has become. And like in the Fuyutsuki episode, like how it seems like the rot goes so far back in time, like to even before the second impact, and like just like which was apparently orchestrated on some level, seemingly, or at least it was predicted. Like, I don't know if we get clarity on that it was orchestrated, but the idea that like Gendo left before it happened is like, well, they saw this coming and that ended the world, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's a lot of revelations of really seedy stuff.
One of the things I thought maybe this sort of meant was, and I don't know, maybe this is just some weird revelation about my life, but like I feel like as children you view everything through rose-colored glasses, and everything, no matter how weird or abnormal it is, seems normal because that's all you know. And then as you get older, when you look back at this stuff, you realize, wait, that was really messed up, and that was wrong, and that was terrible. All the things that you look back at as happy memories as an adult, when you actually really reflect on them, you're like, oh, that was why that relative was no longer invited over, and that was why, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what these episodes felt like, of like, you go into the start of the series with this sort of like childlike wonder, and there's robots and there's fighting and there's all this, they're in school and everything
And there's
seems
Pen
really
Pen.
normal. Yeah, and there's Pen Pen, everything seems normal. As crazy as all this stuff, like, the world has ended in some way, and Tokyo's destroyed, and the fate of the world is resting in the hands of a few children and all this, but it all seems very upbeat. And like by revealing the past from before episode 1, we're starting to find out that this is not the case. And that kind of maps to like, the whole, these kids are getting a little bit older, Ash just sort of coming of age a little bit, were they trying to make us feel the same way the kids were feeling?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a smart take. Someone on the Reddit was talking about how like what Asuka's going through. She's going through it when she's having her period, which is like, symbolically, it's like it's coming of age, just like you said. And it's like, yeah, the walls are closing in around her. And yeah, I think there is an extent where it's like, oh man, we're growing up, we're seeing this stuff for what it is. It's making us go crazy. I think we are kind of on this journey. We're certain, like, I think, we see Shinji's journey, and I think, yeah, the format of the show kind of mirrors that too, in the sense that it starts from, and also, I don't think like, obviously the world that they're in now is a lot rebuilt from the second impact, but I think in the beginning you would be forgiven for believing this is just like Neo Tokyo, like everything's fine. There's a bunch of rocket launchers on the hill to fight monsters and stuff, but that's just what the future is, not like. No, this is like the last tattered scraps of civilization that we've managed to claw back from the apocalypse. And even that's in jeopardy. That's kind of like the slowly unfolding picture that's revealed. And not only that, but the reason we're so imperiled seems to be weird, shadowy machinations by government entities that are clearly fucking with what they're not supposed to be fucking with for reasons unknown, probably having to do with personal ambition. And then as of the Fuyutsuki, it kind of confirms that it's like, yeah, probably none of this needed to happen at all. Like it really was just people fucking around being fucking insane, like kind of cult shit almost. And it's just, yeah, it's so tragic. Like all these ambitions and crazy people playing God with other people's lives and livelihoods, and the health of the planet itself, has destroyed all these people, especially the people, the main cast. Like Gendo's life was destroyed when he lost Yui. Yui's life was destroyed. We were talking in the last episode, but the reason Shinji like ran away from his parents and became estranged for his dad was probably seeing his mom disappear in that experiment that he was there for, like as a little child. Rei seemingly strangled to death. Akagi lost her mom. Masato lost her parents and was, catatonic for years, unable to speak. So like. We see like everybody who's like coming into this end game is like shattered and destroyed, and not just like man, the apocalypse sure is tough, but they were personally like destroyed by the actions that these movers and shakers have embarked on, and they're the ones now towards the end trying to hold everything together as it continues to disintegrate, like sand falling through your hands or something. And it feels like reality is kind of breaking down too. Like, in various episodes, you got Shinji disappearing into the Eva,
Asuka has like a mental breakdown. She gets her brain attacked by angels and stuff, and like it just feels like reality. The Evas are getting more weird and esoteric, also, and weirder things are happening. Misato's seeing like Adam underground, and just like is trying to understand what's going on and piece it together. It's just everything's like breaking down, like reality itself. It's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah. The other journey I think we kind of went through too from the start to this was, at least I thought at the beginning of it, that this was going to be a series that was Shenji was the main character. This was going to be Shenji's story. And as time goes on, he's sort of in the background more and more. He still plays a key role, but I also sort of felt like too that was sort of the same journey that kids go on at about the same age too, is because when you're a kid, you're the main character in every story you have.
Yeah.
The world began when you were born, and things that happened before that don't matter, and everything that matters is when you were around for it. And this is now showing that you don't really think of your parents having a life before you and things that they did before you and all of this. And then as time goes on, you start to realize that you're not always the main character in everything that happens around you, and other people have their own journeys, and you're a bit player in their journey and things like that. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here too, is that there's this huge expansion of the past, the future, everything all making the original plot line as I thought it was being very small.
Yeah, for sure. And also like, I think it kind of, it definitely mirrors that, but it also kind of mirrors like Shinji's attempts to connect to people more, because like he's so closed off in the beginning and is like running from everything. And so that's what we're seeing, is him being isolated and running, but then as he opens up more, the show starts to open up to those things that he's opening up to too. And we're learning more about them, and they're becoming more center stage as he's like trying, sometimes in vain, but trying to like connect to them and broaden his horizons and his understanding of what existence is. And it's not just like me running away from my personal discomfort because I can't stand to be hurt,
Sure.
Which it's pretty effective. But yeah, so let's talk about 21. Fuyutsuki gets kidnapped by Seal. He starts talking about or remembering his past. He meets Gendo as a result of Yui. Gendo seems to have gone after Yui to get involved with Sela. He gets involved with Sela. They do Antarctica. It ends the world. Gendo is kind of like involved with Sela. He's involved in these like artificial evolution experiments that seem to have something to do with Adam, and that's how the Evas are created. They're like some sort of experiment born of like messing around with Adam creates like the first skeleton for Unit 0, which is Ray's. And then he has Ray as like this little kid kicking around after Shinji disappears. Again, I think Shinji ran away after his mom died. And Gendo sets up, human instrumentality project is like man trying to achieve godhood. And then Kaji presumably gets killed. So like a lot of shit is going on in these episodes. Do you have any thoughts or questions or anything? I really like that episode because I feel like it again, like you said, it answers a lot of questions, but it sets up a lot of questions too.
Yeah, there were so many things that I know this is a lot of animation style, but Yui sure looks a lot like Ray, I thought, and I like that's gotta mean something. And then there's tying these characters that I thought were just like work colleagues, like Ritsuku's mom and Gendo, that like I nothing before this point really led me to believe that they had a connection other than work, and yeah, there was just so much going on that asked, so many questions of like, then later Ray, with the whole "you old hag" thing and all that is very significant and explains some things, but also raises a lot of questions. And it's, if Ray got strangled, how is she still around now? And there's a lot of things that I'm just like, wait. So I backed up several times and replayed things when okay, I had to have missed something here, and wasn't sure that I did or didn't. So yeah, This answered a lot, but also left me with a lot of wait, what just happened moments.
Yeah, I don't think I clocked that so clearly because I don't know. Ray has like a much wider face in
Mhm.
as her like teenage self, But if you like narrowed her face, yeah, because I only clocked that like Yui looks a lot like Shinji to me.
Mhm.
But yeah, she does look a lot like Ray, except Ray has, yeah, again, I would say a wider face. But their features are very, very similar. Obviously the colors are different. Um, and I think it's also interesting where as the Ray that got strangled, um, I mean, I guess kids can be really cruel, and you kind of grow out of it a little bit as you age. But like the Ray that was saying that stuff about Akagi doesn't seem like the same kind of person. Like you look at the current Ray, and it's like she doesn't seem like someone who would have done that as a kid. Like maybe she would
Right.
say insulting things, but you got a sense that Ray was kind of being playful and cruel in a way, like kind of sadistic almost, like inheriting like, oh, my dad doesn't like you, so I think you're trash and I think it's okay to treat you poorly, rather than I'm just like innocently parroting things. Although I think Akagi is kind of like going nuts. And so it could be a little bit that she's just interpreting it that way. We're seeing more of her
Mhm.
subjective, but I do think that's an interesting thing to note is they do seem very different characterization wise. And yeah, I don't know if I have anything else on what you were saying, at least.
So
Um,
I played this a couple times and I could read it both ways. So did she kill herself after she strangled Ray, or was that
yeah.
meant to be vague? Okay.
No, it is kind of vague, but there's this impact sound you hear right before they kind of cut to like this white shot. And I think we're to believe she threw herself off that ledge after kind of like looking in horror at what she'd done, which again appears to be that she did strangle Ray to death, although it's not super clear because Ray's still alive. But yeah, it seems like that's what she did. And there's that chalk outline on the ground. I think it could be possible that like someone threw her off in a scene that we never saw, and it's just like a misdirect. But I think we're probably to believe that she killed herself. We were talking that it's interesting because it kind of sounded like maybe she had to like remove her brain that would kill her to like start up the Magi computers, and that's why she died, was to put herself in the computer. But then it turns out like, oh, probably not. Probably she did a good job making the computers and then she killed herself on an unrelated note, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
That's also seemed like a weird, like, hey, you were really pushing us to believe this and then didn't follow through on it.
Yeah.
But also too, I guess so as soon as I finished watching this, I read a little bit and I saw that they had aired this and the creators were not happy with this episode and then redid it as a director's cut. So I saw the original version. I don't know if you guys were watching the director's cut version or not.
So do you know the runtime? I'll have to look this up later.
Mine was the same as all the other episodes, and it wasn't the longer.
Well, that's the thing is I think
Yeah.
Netflix, I was going to mention this earlier, but I found out that I think from Wolf Puppy maybe, that on Netflix episodes 21 through 24 are all director's cuts. So that's part
Right.
of why I guess they're all going to be longer. So yeah, now I gotta go and watch the ones you watched to see, because now I'm super curious how those ones played. I wonder how long the elevator scene was in the not director's cut, because there's no way it was as long. It couldn't be.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to watch them both now too and see what the differences were, because they
Yeah.
said that the original version, because of like time and budget constraints, things were confusing that weren't meant to be confusing. So I'm wondering what those are now.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I gotta check that out. And I will. Let's do that now. And we're back. Man, what'd you think?
That answered everything for me, man.
Wow, yeah.
That
Really
was exactly what I needed.
interesting stuff. Well, maybe we should take a break to try some beverages before we go into 22, huh?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin sent me this juice, limited edition. It's Ocean Spray. Ocean Spray limited edition mulled blackberry pear flavored juice drink with another juice from concentrate and other natural flavors.
I had mentioned
And
this in the show, like back in what, November, December time.
yeah, Yeah, you did. You said it was really bad. Do you want to talk about what your experience with it?
I don't know. Maybe I just don't like the mulling
I
of
don't
it.
either. I don't like mulling.
But it just sort of tasted like juice that had sort of gone bad, or just even if that's not what it was just they made good juice bad for no reason. Like they could have just stopped by mixing the two juices together and it would have been fine. But this was just not good. And then like the bottle, I think if I remember right, suggests heating it up and
Yeah, try it warm.
that just sounds like even worse then. It really does. It doesn't, I don't know, but I sent you the bottle because I wanted to see if it was just me or. So I even like looked online for reviews and like almost all of them were like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Um,
And am I mistaken? Did you send me this before and it got lost in the mail or something?
yes, it did. It did.
Okay.
Yes. So then I went to the store and found the last bottle on the shelf and then mailed it to you.
Wow. What luck. Um, it seems like it has cranberry juice and grape juice in it, which is interesting because it doesn't say, and there's no images of that on the. Oh, I guess on the back there's some cranberries, but it doesn't lead you to believe that there's some juice. Which I just saw a TikTok that said like all juice is apple juice, and if you look at like a lot of different various fruit juices in the store, like there's just a little bit of other juice, and then their base is like mostly apple juice, which is interesting. It's all like apple juice laundering, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I
So
read
that's
something to
interesting.
apple, grape, and pear are the three cheapest juices. So they lean heavily on those and then
Yeah,
just use concentrated other flavors to kick it up.
that makes sense. I mean, I feel like grape juice is. I feel like I don't know. I mean, pear juice is whatever. I feel like grape juice to me seems like the most. I can't construct the sentence. I would most like to see grape juice in other beverages. I think apple juice feels a little off to me, but I guess I don't know why I think that. But and there's also a cocktail recipe. You can make a mulled winter warmer cocktail using this orange slice, cinnamon stick, dark rum, or whiskey, and 3 fresh ocean spray cranberries.
It has to be ocean spray though. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know ocean spray sells just straight up cranberries, although it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing them at the store ever. Like when I've seen fresh cranberries, they're just
Yeah. Maybe those frozen ones are ocean spray now I think of it.
maybe.
It smells pretty good. It smells kind of spicy and blackberry-y. If it tasted like this, we had that spiced apple, that Beetlejuice flavor ages ago, and I
Yeah.
didn't like that. And I think that's because the spices. I think like last year was the year of adding extraneous spice flavors to fruit. Man, I made cookies yesterday. Me and my girlfriend, she got me this book called Baking for Two, and it's small batch baking recipes. And so we've been baking them on either side of the phone together, and it's a lot of fun. And we were making coffee toffee cookies, but I didn't want coffee, and I don't like coffee, and I didn't have espresso powder, but I did have garam masala. And I smelled the garam masala, and I was like, this smells like it could be really good. And the recipe didn't have enough flour in it. So the cookies were like really spread out and kind of, the dough was over liquidy, but the flavor was good. I want to try them again and add more flour and see if I can get them to be more like traditional cookies because they really melted. It was kind of upsetting. I hate when I mess something up in the kitchen, but taste wise, the garam masala toffee cookie was kind of legit.
That's an interesting combination. Like I could see like a strong turmeric base cookie actually working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that sounds like that's pretty good actually.
Yeah, I think what mostly came through was like ginger and nutmeg, but there was definitely some spices that were more like traditionally savory spices in there, but I think if I put more, it might have been a problem. When I do it again, I'm going to add more of the spice and kind of push it harder to see like how it breaks the recipe, because I don't know. I didn't want to do coffee and I was just going to do toffee. And then like I smelled the garam masala on my pantry and I was like, that smells like it could go pretty well. And it did. Anyway, I'm going to give this a drink. Kevin, talk him through it.
All right. So Spencer's giving it a sip here, and he's contemplating this. Oh, he doesn't. I think that was maybe a look of displeasure. Instead of raised eyebrow, This
Yeah.
reminds
Go
me
ahead.
of you the spleen being unhappy about something. That same kind of look here.
Yeah. The spleen's never happy with things. You know, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. Why do we podcast, Kevin?
I
Why do we
don't
do
know.
this to ourselves and our listeners?
I don't know.
So I like it more than you, I'd imagine. I think it tastes like juice that's been aged in a barrel, but hasn't become wine. And I think the woody notes that come through are a value subtract, but the underlying juice of it, I'm not hating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. I just overall was less happy with that combination than you seem to be.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's got different flavors in the different slurps, but I can actually get some of the blackberry. I think the blackberry kind of does okay with the cranberry. I don't really get the pear, but I am getting the grape. So it's like a cranberry, grape, blackberry flavor. Very berry-ish, which is nice. I don't know. I'm
If I
glad.
remember right, I think I was feeling some like, of the bitter, like orange rind kind of feel to it. Like,
Yeah.
does that are you feeling that?
If I had to guess, I'd say that's the cranberry. Cranberry has this kind of dry astringency, and I'm getting some of that. And I would say that does taste a lot like, yeah, like orange rind, orange peel. Yeah. Well, it would have been better content if I was like, ugh, yuck. Ooh. Oh, no. But hey, you got to be real. But it's a limited time only, and that limited time has passed. So you can't get it. But hey, I'll sell this to you. If anyone wants it, I'll sell it to you. That could be good.
For
I'm gonna have to start
$35
auctioning stuff off.
on set a Patreon tier that the first person who signs up for it gets your half empty jug.
There you go. I'll have to set that even higher than it seems like, because if someone in like China signs up, I'm gonna be out like $100 shipping it to them. But okay, what about this other one? You've tried this one, right? Tropical Sprite. We haven't done beverages in a while, huh?
I know. Yeah, so this is Tropical Sprite. It just says tropical flavored soda with other and natural flavors.
And you've tried it before?
I have tried it before.
Okay. Looking at it, to me, it looks like it's gonna taste kind of like a Cactus Cooler, but I want to say Cactus Cooler has some pineapple flavor in it, and I don't think it's gonna have pineapple flavor in it, but maybe it will. I'm gonna. Do you want to try yours first?
Sure. Let me crack this open here. Give it a quick
It smells
sniff
kind of tangerine-y.
Yeah, it does. It smells like, I don't know, tangerine candy of some kind. Like it's,
I
but
snorted some. I got some in my nose.
oh, it's sort of halfway in between though. Is this a beverage or is this a cleaning product? Because it has that same citrusy cleaning feel to it.
Oh,
It's
it's bringing out the spleen in me, baby. Oh no. What do you call it when you cough out your nose, Kevin?
I don't know.
It's not a sneeze. It's different than a sneeze.
A spleeze.
A spleeze.
Yeah.
That's what you call it when you cough out of your spleen. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, so it smells like if 7-Up made a floor cleaner. But I don't mean that in a bad way.
Do you remember when D.L. Hughley, was it? No, it wasn't. God damn it. I'm racist. Those spleen's racist, folks. Do you remember when that 7-Up spokesperson was like, make 7-Up yours?
Yes, yeah.
That was a good ad campaign. Do you remember
It was.
DNL, also known as 7 Upside Down?
I do. I remember that. Yeah, that was
loved
pretty
that
good.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
Back when I was a little organelle. Did you know that organs start as organelles within the tiny walls of an animal cell before they become full-blown organs?
I did not know that was how the genesis of the spleen.
Okay, yeah, no, this is tropical. This is taking me back to the island. I'm from an island.
Which island are you from?
Uh, one of those ones. Um, tax havens. One of those.
Oh, okay. All right.
The spleen
Thank
is what happens when you route a normal person through a tax haven.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. By the time he gets here, he's just fucked up like this. It's all crazy.
We got to close those loopholes.
I think there might have been an error drinking this after. I thought that it might make the other juice too good to try to drink it after this. It might make it taste sweeter or something. But in fact, I think the intense, crazy flavors of the juice is making this kind of flat by comparison. It's hard to assess. It tastes kind of light, if that makes sense.
Yeah. This actually I find kind of refreshing. Like I think this would do well in the summer. Really cold.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing. It's very, it's sweet but not too sweet.
Yeah, although it has, I think, more calories than your average can of soda. 140. Isn't 120 normal? Maybe not.
Oh, let's see. My can of
Contains no juice.
RC's 150, Pepsi's 150. It's about the
Okay.
same.
Yeah, no, it is the same. My bad. This plane can't count, y'all. Do you know that, Kevin?
It-
Just like those taxes, they can't count, They stop counting.
Is that why you had to move to a tax haven and you couldn't do your taxes?
No, I was a normal man that got routed through a tax haven.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I became all fucked up and lost my ability to count.
Okay. No, that does track. Okay.
And then I got strangled, resurrected, everything but my vocal cords. Got bit by a werecart. Got kicked out of my house. Homeowners Association tried to stop me. I replaced the sign. Had some warning tape. The whole story.
We needed to start a comprehensive spleen lore.
Yeah, we need a spleenopedia going on. Who wants to start up the spleenopedia, baby? Oh no.
That sounds like a project for somebody.
Yeah. No loot, get on that. There's no loot here. No loot. You're on the phone. You're on. What did you think about Evangelion? No loot.
If only we could have him on right now. Let me check.
He's gone.
He's gone already.
Where is no loot?
He's not even online right now.
What happened? Someone find him. Make sure he's safe. I bit him.
You did.
Yeah. That could explain what's going on.
That could be. He should be becoming a were-naloot.
Holy shit. A nickel. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Wow. I think the spleen's mind just got blown.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be drinking all these calories. I'm trying to lose weight. I gained like 5 pounds this past week. I'm sure it's not all, full on weight, but I'm trying to. I made 9 quarts of soup, Kevin. It's so much soup. My fridge is full of soup, and I gotta drink it before it goes bad. You drink soup. You don't eat soup. I guess you eat soup. I gotta drink it though.
Well, I'm going on. I've had some dental surgery done, and this is week 4 now, where I've not really been able to eat hard food.
Wow.
I've had a lot of soup, surprisingly, a surprising amount of soup.
Yeah.
Which is hard to find when you're on a road trip,
Oh, yeah.
It's surprisingly difficult to find soft foods at gas stations and things like that. But yeah, it's been a great weight loss technique.
Too bad you weren't around here. You could go to Pea Soup Anderson's. Get you some split pea soup, all you can eat.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, no, and that's like smooth too. It's not like chomping down. Or what you should get, Kevin, is some Tomka. The Korean. That stuff's good.
Oh, yes. That's actually see. There's almost no Korean food around me. Not a Korean barbecue. Nothing.
That's a damn shame.
It is.
Korean food's great, Kevin. I'm gonna try and learn how to make Tomka for my girlfriend who loves it, and I love her.
It sounds like fate.
It better be. Do you know how much money I've spent on baking supplies? I'm completely underwater on butterscotch of toffee chunks.
Well, I know there's a guy that knows a tax break that you can, you can maybe get some money back this year.
Some say he is a tax break.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So any other thoughts about episode 21?
No, just a lot of questions, a lot of questions, but it wrapped up a lot of things too not in any ways I would ever have expected. Like a lot of times you kind of feel like where a show is going, and this one is not one of those shows.
Yeah, for sure. It's always zigging and zagging. 22. Asuka, we find out about her past. She gets brain fucked by Hallelujah Beam. Ray throws a spear into outer space. A lot going on in this episode. Someone on the Reddit said that the voiceover we hear of the doctors talking about dolls and God's dolls and stuff was Asuka's dad flirting with a nurse while her mom is like dead or whatever, which is interesting. I guess I believe that. I don't know where that information comes from, but
see, I read that too, and I even went and replayed that, and I went, how is anyone getting that from what I just watched? But then I remembered I'm not watching the director's cut, so maybe that was a difference. So that's how
wasn't in the director's cut.
Okay. I've seen the two places I looked to like read up about this episode both said that, and I did not understand how anyone was getting that.
Yeah, there's extra materials, I mean, one of the main extra materials is they went back and made a manga after the fact. And the manga goes into more detail on various aspects and kind of slightly rewrites stuff a little bit. And it's more clear. So it could be that happens in the manga. So it's like believed that that's what was happening. But I don't know. But yeah, what'd you think?
A lot happened here too, like I said, the idea of like maybe Ray's getting older and she's no longer able to pilot an Ava. Does that mean something? Or is it just that she's really messed up right now and can't? Or is it something else going on? Is there intelligence behind these angels that are trying to figure out what it is that's inside these robots? Are they probing her because they're curious? Are they probing because they're trying to figure out how to win? What's the motive here? Chucking the giant spear into outer space was amazingly crazy.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
It seemed like Gendo had been wanting to do that for a long time, but wasn't really explained why now is the time to do that, and none of the other, like, you've been sitting on this ultimate weapon for this long, why use it now and in a way that we're probably not going to get it back? Seemed a little, I'm hoping that there's an explanation for that later.
Yeah, it seems like we talked about a lot of this stuff a little bit. It seems like he had some reason to put it in space to keep it away from Sela, because I think we're starting to understand that Gendo is trying to do something a little bit different than Sela. And what they're trying to do is the Human Instrumentality Project. So it seems like whatever the Human Instrumentality Project, which is achieving godhood, that Gendo has a slightly different riff on what Sela wants him to do. And that's what they're getting nervous about. They're like, it seems like Gendo's going rogue a little bit. Mm-hmm. And and he says like we can't slow down time, or we can't turn back the hands of time, but we can move them forward. I think it kind of makes it sound like it's a counter move to something that Seal has been doing. And so like Huga mentions that they can't retrieve the spear. There's no way to retrieve a mass that large. And so I think it's like, oh, we're putting it in space, so now it's kind of out of play. Like there's something maybe that Sela wanted to use it for, and now they can't, or something was kind of his. It was kind of like an idea we came to. I think it's interesting. You can definitely, it's being read as a weapon, like they kind of refer to it as a weapon, but you can potentially believe that if an angel was telepathic, it might just be so powerful with its telepathy, it just does destroy the brains of humans that it's trying to read, so maybe it trying to communicate is just too much, like if you're just like a giant, I guess, screaming at the top of its lungs, it's like that's too loud for human ears, it just breaks your eardrums or something. So it's like it could just be that, and it's being interpreted as an attack. There's also kind of like, we were kind of messing around with the readings that maybe the person she's talking to in there is the soul of the Eva, or maybe it's the angel talking to her. Because I think what's happening with her is she's so closed off, because that's what she does. She's an externalizer. She's closing herself off, and like that's limiting what she can do with the Eva. So the Eva might be trying to connect to her despite her being so closed off, but she doesn't let it happen. She just closed herself off completely, and maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, I think her getting older is part of it, but it also seems like she's been dwelling on this since the beginning of the episode. Like for whatever reason, maybe her period or whatever is making her think about these past memories, and that's really throwing her off or something, and then that gets more blown open when the angel attacks. But yeah. Any other stuff?
I like the use of the Hallelujah chorus in there.
Yeah, it's so good.
That took me completely just by surprise. I was not expecting that at all. Like I kind of feel like that's overused today, but when this was made, that had not happened yet.
Right.
And it was really good. I thought.
Yeah. It's like a great image with the sound under it, with a great visual, and like the timing of it hits right on like the hallelujah or whatever, and it keeps building as like things are getting more crazy. It's like it's all really well timed and synchronized. It all plays together really well. And yeah, presumably back then it wasn't as cliche.
Yeah, that was pretty much my takes. I liked it, but again, I have so many new questions now, and I know there's not many episodes left that's going to wrap these up. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out.
Anything you hope happens? Any predictions? Any questions you really want to get answered?
Well, I think what's gradually being revealed is that all these people are having connections that were not previously exposed. So I'm kind of hoping that like all of this all plays out in the end, where it's all some cohesive, like, everybody's intertwined in some way that's not showing up right now. Like there are a lot of movies like that. Like, the Fifth Element is a great movie, I think, for one of the reasons like the protagonist and the antagonist never meet each other, but literally everybody that they each knows each other, and as the movie goes on, it's revealed how all of these pieces are all just suddenly like just this chaos around of this seemingly crazy movie all just lands perfectly as a completed puzzle at the very end. I kind of hope that's happening, and there's going to be these connections that are not visible yet that are going to mean something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And that's Kevin's takes. Oh, yeah. We'll be back with Kevin's takes after these messages. And as always, we like to end the show the same way we do every week. So until next time, we'll be back after these messages and a lesson from Spend Pie. Hey, kids. I'm Spleen Pie with a message for Japanese in a Japanese lesson. Did you know that Japanese is a where car?
Goodbye.